Recently, the Writers Guild of America, the fine Hollywood writers who bring us such things as late-night comedy shows, modern Star Trek, the MCU, Jurassic World trilogy, Disney live-action remakes, Amazon's Rings of Power, Velma, and Netflix's Cowboy Bebop, have decided to go on strike.
Oh no! What happened? Oh no! How terrible! That's just awful! How terrible! Oh no!
Some Twitter wag, ungrateful for everything these writers have done for him, suggested that they could easily be replaced by ChatGPT. This drew outrage from the writers, but I thought I might take it for a test drive. So here is ChatGPT's synopsis for a King Kong vs. Mothra movie. Act 1. The movie opens with a shot of a dense jungle, where we hear the faint roar of a giant creature. The camera slowly zooms in on a group of researchers who are exploring the area. Among them is Dr. Helen Chen, an expert in the field of entomology, who is leading the team. They are searching for a rare species of butterfly that has been sighted in the area. As they move deeper into the jungle, the group suddenly comes to a clearing. In the center of the clearing, they see a towering figure that takes their breath away. It's King Kong, the giant ape, who has been living in the jungle for years. The researchers are amazed by the sight of the enormous creature. However, their attention is suddenly drawn to the sky above. A massive moth-like creature has appeared. It's none other than Mothra, the legendary insect deity. The two colossal creatures stare each other down, sizing each other up. The researchers watch in awe as the battle begins. Kong charges at Mothra, pounding his chest and roaring fiercely. Mothra responds with a burst of bright light, which sends Kong flying backward. As the two continue to fight, the researchers realize they are in danger. They quickly pack up their equipment and try to leave the area. But before they can get far, they are caught in the middle of the battle. Kong and Mothra are destroying everything around them, and the researchers find themselves running for their lives. As the chaos unfolds, Dr. Chen notices something strange. Mothra seems to be holding back, as if she doesn't want to hurt Kong. She realizes there is more to this fight than meets the eye, and she makes it her mission to find out what's really going on. The first act ends with Dr. Chen and the other researchers fleeing deeper into the jungle, trying to escape the battle between King Kong and Mothra. But as they run, they know they must find a way to stop the two creatures before they destroy everything in their path. Act 2. Dr. Chen and the researchers manage to find a safe spot in the jungle where they can watch the battle between Kong and Mothra from a distance. As they watch, they realize that something is not right. Mothra seems to be holding back her full strength, and Kong is not fighting with his usual ferocity. Dr. Chen suspects that there may be some kind of external force influencing the creatures. She decides to investigate further and leads their group deeper into the jungle. Along the way, they discover a secret underground facility that belongs to a mysterious corporation. The corporation is conducting experiments on the creatures, using technology to control their minds and manipulate their behavior. Dr. Chen and the researchers manage to infiltrate the facility and discover that the corporation is using a powerful energy source to control Kong and Mothra. They also find out that the corporation plans to use the creatures as weapons to destroy any potential threats to their business interests. Dr. Chen and her team manage to deactivate the energy source and free Kong and Mothra from the corporation's control. However, their freedom comes at a cost. The energy source explodes, causing massive destruction to the facility and the surrounding jungle. Kong and Mothra, now free from the corporation's influence, continue their battle. However, this time, they fight with renewed strength and ferocity, determined to destroy each other once and for all. The researchers realize they must intervene before it's too late. Dr. Chen comes up with a plan to stop the creatures. She convinces the corporation scientists to help her create a new energy source, one that can pacify the creatures and calm them down. With the new energy source, Dr. Chen and her team manage to subdue Kong and Mothra, ending their battle and preventing further destruction. The second act ends with Dr. Chen and her team having successfully stopped the battle between King Kong and Mothra. However, they realize that there are still those who would seek to control the creatures for their own gain. They must now decide how to protect the creatures from those who would exploit them, and ensure they can continue to live peacefully in their natural habitats. Act 3. With the battle between Kong and Mothra finally over, Dr. Chen and her team return to the jungle to check on the creatures. They find Kong injured but alive, and manage to treat his wounds. However, they discover that Mothra did not survive the battle. Dr. Chen is devastated by the loss of Mothra, but she realizes that there is still hope. She learns that Mothra has a special ability to lay an egg before dying, and that the egg will hatch into a new generation of Mothra larvae. Dr. Chen and her team search the jungle, and eventually find the egg. They bring it back to their research facility and begin studying it. They soon discover that the egg is highly valuable and that there are those who would do anything to get their hands on it. The corporation, still seeking to exploit the creatures for their own gain, launches an attack on the facility. They want the egg and will stop at nothing to get it. Dr. Chen and her team are forced to defend the egg and themselves against the corporation's assault. In the midst of the chaos, the egg hatches, revealing a small, newly hatched Mothra larvae. Dr. Chen is overjoyed at the sight of the creature and realizes that it represents hope for the future. She vows to protect the creature and ensure that it can live in peace and safety. The battle between Dr. Chen and the corporation intensifies, with both sides suffering heavy losses. In the end, Dr. Chen and her team emerge victorious, but at great cost. The research facility is destroyed, and many of the researchers are injured or killed. The movie ends with Dr. Chen and her team, along with the newly hatched Mothra larvae, returning to the jungle. They release the creature into the wild, where it can grow and thrive. Dr. Chen knows that there will always be those who seek to exploit the creatures for their own gain, but she is determined to protect them and ensure they can live in peace. As the credits roll, we see shots of the newly hatched Mothra larvae growing and evolving, ready to face whatever challenge lies ahead. The movie ends with a sense of hope and optimism for the future of these magnificent creatures. And now, I asked for an after-credit scene as well, but I added in a particular condition to this after-credit scene. The screen fades to black, and then we see a shot of a dark laboratory filled with strange machinery and equipment. A figure in a white lab coat is hunched over a console, typing furiously. The camera zooms in on the figure, revealing that it is none other than Doctor Who, the nefarious villain from King Kong Escapes. Doctor Who looks up at the camera, a sly grin on his face. "Ah, it seems I found a way to harness the power of those magnificent creatures," he says, referring to King Kong and Mechanicong, the giant robotic ape he had built to rival Kong. He turns to a group of scientists and says, "Gentlemen, we have work to do. Our plans for world domination are far from over." The scene ends with a shot of Doctor Who and his team of scientists working feverishly on their latest scheme, setting the stage for a potential sequel to King Kong Escapes, and leaving audiences wondering what new dastardly plot Doctor Who might have up his sleeve.